Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA Front Office Show. It's Friday. You know what that means.
Front Office Friday! First one of 2026 edition.
Let's go. Welcome 2026. First episode of 2026. Happy to have you all here. Thank you for getting us to 40,000 subscribers, a milestone for the show for sure. Appreciate all of you who've hit that subscribe button. If that's not you that we're talking about, hit that subscribe button. It wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, get in there. Push us towards 50 now. That's the next goal. Let's go.
That's right. And don't forget to hit the like button as well on this show. We've got a lot to get into. A lot of questions, a lot of comments already coming in. But before we get into all of that, Keith, did you have any New Year's resolutions? Or as my daughter until like 2 days ago believed it was New Year's revolutions, which
nice.
I kind of like better.
Yeah, it could treat that a couple ways, right? You could either start something like big, like a big revolution, or just spin around in a circle a few times.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Call it good. No, not really. In general, I'm working on some health stuff. I think we finally found some things that are working in a positive way. So that's a good thing. But that's really it. Just want to continue to do good work and work hard and, continue to grow the show here and continue to put out good tools on Spot Track and good work over there and all that good stuff. You?
Yeah. I posted on, frankly, I'm a follower. I saw everybody doing it. I posted on Instagram last night, like 10 or so photos or whatever that I took over the course of the year. I just commented about it being the new year, and somebody said, "You really have the best job in the world." And I was like, yeah, there's times where it doesn't feel like it, of course, as with any job, but yeah, I want to continue to grow, what we're doing here, continue to take those steps forward along this path. But I think one thing that I want to do, because I constantly am looking ahead to what's next, is appreciate the moment a bit more. That's what I would like to do more this season.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did a lot of work, like right before the pandemic, when I was very frustrated in my career and I wanted to do this. I wanted to do basketball, and I changed my mindset a little and tried to focus on contentment and being content with not like giving up on things, but being grateful for the things that I had a little bit more, and that helped change my mindset. But yeah, I want to stay same as you, stay in the moment a little bit more, not always be so focused on what's to come, and enjoy things as they're happening.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get into some of the questions and comments that are coming into our chat here. We'll start off. Nets Kingdom wants to know about Michael Porter Jr. Is he getting traded? I think the Nets are in a great spot with MPJ. He's rehabilitated a lot of his trade value as long as you don't put a microphone in front of his face. I think he's done a nice job this season for the team. He does have a history of injuries, so I wonder if now could this be a really quick flip for the Nets? And before, another kind of injury can pop up, do you cash out on him? I do wonder if this is a chance for them, especially because there's going to be buyers on the market and he could fit in with a lot of teams. Maybe this is an opportunity for the Nets. If it's a key term here, if the offer is good enough.
Yeah. So I have a couple thoughts on this. The first one is, like you, and I'm not trying to call you out here or start a fight on the new year, but I was in the same place as you where I'm like, yeah, the injuries are a thing. But he's had 3 healthy seasons in a row now where he really hasn't missed much. He's missed a handful of games, but everybody does. So really has done well so far with that. And then my second thought is, and I'm going to steal a Trevor Laneism, don't hear what I'm not saying here. The Nets are not the Thunder, but part of the way the Thunder got to the position they're in asset-wise was getting assets to take a player in, then getting assets when they traded that player on the way out. And the Nets may have that opportunity here. Do you know how many points per game he's averaging? this season?
27.
Yeah, close, almost. It's like 26.
26 and a half or so.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
And he's doing it on great efficiency. It's like 50, 40, 80 efficiency. And let's face it, it's a Nets team that it's not like he has a ton of help around him, getting him open and creating shots for him. So to answer Nets Kingdom question, I do think he's going to get traded. I think I'm starting to think he could be one of the bigger names who actually gets moved at the trade deadline. I don't know that we're going to see a Giannis trade. Not sure about an AD trade. I think those may be summertime things. I was reading a piece by Tim Bontemps and Brian Windhorst, which said if there aren't major trades made at the deadline, probably means we're going to have huge trades this summer.
Yeah.
And that could be what happens with a couple of those guys. So yeah, good stats, bad team doesn't apply when the guy's efficient.
Exactly. That's exactly why I put that up there, because typically good stats on bad teams come inefficiently. And then what you see is that player gets traded to a better team, their role is reduced, their efficiency goes up because they're getting higher quality looks, even if the volume does go down. That's typically what you see. So the good shots, bad. In fact, I think it's more of a feather in the cap of MPJ because he's putting up good stats efficiently on a bad team where defenses can be more focused on him. Now, are a lot of teams really ramping up to play against the Nets the same way they would some of the top tier clubs? No. And that's, a fair counterpoint, I think, that we have to acknowledge. But he is scoring very, very efficiently, playing very well. I think he's going to be a guy that a lot of teams are interested in. And I thought it may have been Jake Fisher. I'm misremembering who it was, but framed it fairly well in that Michael Porter Jr. could be a nice alternative for teams where the asking price is too high on Lauri Markkanen in terms of giving you essentially what you're looking for out there on the wing.
Yeah, 100%. And that did come from Jake. And yeah, I mean, the Jazz have said multiple first-round picks. The Nets probably a first and go forward from there. And yeah, MPJ has played really, really well, better than I thought he would to this point. So it's been really impressive. So I think they've got a chance to really do well here when you kind of put the total of the trades together to get him. They got assets, and to trade him away, they're probably going to get assets too. And let's be honest, they're probably winning a little bit more than they want to at the moment. And a lot of that is because of MPJ. So I think they'd rather let's transition, a little bit, and without outright tanking, we'll do so by removing the best player from our roster.
Just a final thought on this. I want to get onto this next topic here, but he is young enough to where the Nets can make the case that he could be part of their future. When they're in those, this is not the same as when the Nets traded a 30-plus-year-old Dennis Schroeder, 30-plus-year-old Dorian Finney-Smith. They can reasonably say, you know what, we need more because we can keep this guy for the long haul if we so choose. So I think they'll get pretty good value for MPJ on the market. All right.
Yeah, I agreed.
Let's go here. This is a very quick one. When will teams be able to sign 10-day contracts? In 3 days, on the 5th, they can sign 10-day contracts. There are so many injured teams right now. We could do a whole show and maybe bring in medical experts or something to try to figure out why. But man, there's been a lot of injuries this season. I don't know if there is, I'm sure someone has the statistics on it, if there's been more than in previous seasons, but it feels like there's been a lot this year. And I think Denver Nuggets fans would certainly agree.
Yeah, I mean, crazy that Jokic goes down and then Valanciunas right behind him. Yeah. They're going to have to get by with De'Ron Holmes and Zeke Naji. There are a handful of teams that we talked about it with Mo Bamba signing with the Raptors. It's kind of a pseudo 10-day where he got a non-guaranteed contract. So we'll see. But yeah, Monday is officially 10-day day. I have a piece up on Spot Track that gives you all of the key dates that you need to know. You can find that on my Twitter or Blue Sky timeline, and it gives you all the key dates all the way through the end of the regular season and the dates for the hard capped teams when they can fit a signing in under their hard cap. there, because that's coming up in the next week for a bunch of teams, and then a couple are a little bit later in the season. So that's all out there. You could kind of pull all that stuff out there and kind of check in on all that. But 10-day contracts on Monday. I also had a piece go up earlier in the week that's guys to watch for potential 10-day call-ups. So it's a lot of my own film study and scouting work, and then in conversations with teams, players, agents, scouts, and the like.
All right, let's go here. What would the chance Louisville could get an expansion team, assuming the league is expanded to 32 teams? I think they could be in the mix. Like, they could be one of the teams that has a meeting and has the conversation. I just have a hard time imagining it's anybody but Vegas and Seattle.
Yeah, agreed on that. I think it would have to take I think Seattle is as lock of a lock as we can get. Then I think Las Vegas is next on the pecking order. And it would have to take, there are some who are suggesting that like the Vegas boom is over as far as people moving into the city and all that. And teams know they can't survive off transients, which are tourists. That's just years of working in hotels for Disney. That's people who they're not locals. They come in and out of the area. You can't survive over that. So, right. So the idea behind them would be, all right, is the commitment not there? That doesn't seem very likely. So let's see where that goes. But I think it's going to be, Louisville's probably in that next tier behind those two, along with places like maybe Vancouver, Montreal, if they want to go international with a couple teams. Doesn't sound like Mexico City is overly excited about the idea of getting an actual NBA team, which I was a little surprised considering they have the annual game there and that. But there was some reporting that they don't know that they're going to be able to make it, play out the way they want to. So we'll see. But yeah, certainly going to be something to keep an eye on here. There, a little bit of buzz of maybe domestic expansion takes a little bit of a backseat, but the league continues to say they believe they can do that and the NBA Europe League at the same time, getting them both off the ground. So more to come in this calendar year per Adam Silver.
All right, let's go here. Does Trae Young have a positive trade market right now? It takes one, but it's difficult to figure out who that one is that would trade for Trae Young. And we've gone through it. I don't know if he's got it. Knowing that he's going to need a new contract too, I don't think in a Trae Young trade you're going to get the return that you would have thought of, say, a couple of years ago when he was seen as this top tier star. And part of it, I think, is, when you see, it doesn't help, I think, his trade value that the Hawks have been better without him this year, and their defense just plummets whenever he's on the floor. That it's going to be an interesting thing to watch if the Hawks decide they're not the team, or they don't want to be the team to pay him on his next contract. I mean, I think about what happened with Brandon Ingram and the return that the Pelicans got for him. Now, obviously, it did turn into that Indiana pick, which then they gave back to Indy, and now they're wishing they didn't. But I don't think it's going to be this crazy superstar return for Trae Young if Atlanta decides to move on from him.
Yeah, I think his value right now is probably more neutral than positive, just because of all the things you said. I mean, we went through it on a show recently where we went through all 20, really all 30 teams. And do they need a point guard? And the answer came up with maybe 6-ish teams. And of that 6, I think 3 are not in position to trade for a guy like Trae Young, just salary wise, it's not there for them. So that's where it gets really, really tough. But we'll kind of see, with this on, what does it look like, when it gets there?
All right, let's go here. Why haven't teams traded? I'm guessing asking prices are too high still. Well, it's a combination of that and offers are too low. And I also think we've got an interesting market dynamic this year where the teams at the bottom of the conference, some of the teams that we would have slotted into the seller spot, like the Clippers and the Mavs, are starting to play better. And so there's more teams that would be in the seller bucket that are talking themselves into, well, we don't need to sell right now. And there's also a number of teams that are what normally would be in the buyer bucket that are saying, you know what, we're good. We've got young players. We don't need to go sacrifice a bunch of stuff in order to add pieces to our team. So I think it's those two things combining to create a little bit of stagnation on the market right now.
Yeah, I think we get fired up for the start of trade season, and we generally have had a handful of trades in December over the last few years, but it's usually just this is how it goes. It does not pick up until we get to the end of January. When you're about a week out from the trade deadline, which is on February 5th, that's when things start getting done. It's Andrew Brandt, who's a football guy, used to work, I believe, for the Packers, has a saying that he says, deadline spur action, right? Mm-hmm. He says that every time there's like a big deadline that, oh, wow, things are actually getting done. Usually NFL related, but it's the same way in the NBA. It's, teams just, they're not necessarily going to move until they feel like it's time to move. And there's a couple guys too that, like Jonathan Kuminga, he's probably getting moved at the trade deadline by the Warriors, but he can't even be moved for another couple of weeks here. It's the 15th before he can be traded. So it's going to take a little bit.
Do you think the Golden State Warriors have, do you remember Michael Scott when he gave Toby his watch when Toby was leaving for Costa Rica, and he hands the watch to Toby, an alarm goes off? And he set the alarm to celebrate when Toby was leaving, and Pam made him give his watch to Toby as like a goodbye gift. Do you think the Golden State Warriors have an alarm set for the moment they're allowed to trade Jonathan Kuminga?
I think they know. I think they're well aware of when that comes up.
They've got like an advent calendar with a little
counting down.
Counting down.
Little page a day.
Right.
10 days left.
Speaking of Jonathan Kuminga, is Terrence Mann and Haywood Highsmith for Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield?
I wouldn't do that.
Golden State. I don't think so.
Yeah, I you got to get better value. Haywood Highsmith is hurt. We have no idea when he's going to even
be able to play yet.
Yeah, there's no real indication towards when he'll be ready to play either. So, and I like Terrence Mann, but he's just okay. He's not giving the Warriors much that they're not getting from other guys already.
Do 10-day contracts affect the team's ability to take back money when it comes to trades?
It eats if you're, for example, the Lakers, they sign a 10-day contract, it just lessens the amount of room you have under your hard cap. So anybody that's hard capped or doesn't want to cross the tax line, that part matters because everything counts. There's this notion out there that things don't count against the cap in the NBA or the tax or the aprons. Everything counts. Some stuff just counts slightly different, but everything counts. So it's all in there. There are no that doesn't actually count. So in the actual reality, some things count more, like trade values for players. They have unlikely bonuses. They count towards the apron. So that's where that is. So I think it's that's just important to know with that. But yeah, it does count. But teams will. I mean, it's 10 days. Like it's a 10-day contract on the 2-year veteran amount is $131K. So it's tight, but you can work around that relatively easily.
It's like even if you don't end up liking something that you're eating, the calories still count. Unfortunately, it all is going to count. It all is going to count. All right. Have there been, which is just not fair, by the way. That's not fair. It shouldn't count. It shouldn't count. Have there been in-season tournament numbers released? Vegas needs to be done with. Imagine the chip game at MSG instead. And I personally don't care about banners. Okay. I don't know if there's been numbers in terms of viewership, in terms of fan attendance. Is that what we're talking about for the in-season tournament in Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, it did well. Like viewership-wise, attendance is kind of meh.
I think it's tough. I still think there should be an advantage to the higher seed, where the higher seed just gets the NBA Cup game.
Yeah.
And you just do, because then you've got. It's not like the Super Bowl. You can put it in any city, and there's enough football fans where they're going to go. I think you need fans of the teams that are involved to have access to those games. If the Orlando Magic are playing in Vegas, well, sure, there's direct flights from Orlando to Vegas, but how many fans are taking that trip out just to go watch the match? That's difficult. And then how many people are driving into Vegas or flying into Vegas for the weekend and are not Orlando Magic fans, say, just to pick an example, and are saying, you know what, let's go watch the Magic play the Blazers or whatever in the NBA Cup final tonight. You're not getting a lot of, I think you need the fan bases to have more access to it. And so I wouldn't even put it in one specific location. I'd put it in the home markets for the teams that are involved in the tournament.
And that's already changing for the semifinals next year. It'll be the higher seed hosts. So that already is going to give you that part of it. And then the other the final there, it's probably not going to be in Las Vegas. They're talking about moving it around the country. Now that's still going to come with a lot of other challenges, like you said, and that's a very you're basically what they want this to be is you're coming to watch the NBA Cup final. Doesn't matter who's in it. Like that's what they would like it to be. Kind of more like the Final Four or the Super Bowl, even though it's not at those levels, obviously, but that's what they want is like, you're just a basketball fan who's going to go, because when you, at least in the semifinals being in Vegas and the finals, you kind of go to a place where it is, okay, well, if I go to Vegas for 4 days, I can hopefully see my team play twice. And if they lose, then you got to see them at least once. If it's just the final moving around, that's only a couple days notice to get to wherever it's going to be. So they're going to keep trying different things. That I continue to say is one of the best things about this current version of the NBA. They aren't afraid to admit when things don't work, and then they'll try new things to try to make it better.
All right, let's go here. I don't know how this could work, but I feel like I could see AD being sent out to the Bucks to play with Giannis, whether it's for Turner or Kuzma and Portis. I mean, the Bucks are one of the teams that projects to act as a buyer on the market. They are going to be more willing to take some chances on some players that maybe are a little bit older, players that don't have the best contracts because they don't have a ton of assets to go get, say, the top level, mid-20s guy on a great contract type situation. So I could see them potentially trying to get into the mix on Anthony Davis. He's a Packers fan, so maybe that kind of helps too. I don't know. But could you see Dallas being interested in something like this? That would be Miles Turner being the primary piece coming back.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. The problem is they don't really have any draft picks to offer. And if I'm the Mavs, I at least want to get a draft pick back for AD too. It's pretty far out, and boy, the Bucks really should not be trading any more future draft picks, because I don't even know that this fixes things. So I get the idea behind it. I just don't think it's going to be a thing that happens.
Yeah. All right, let's go here. If I'm the Bucks, I definitely try.
Sure.
Yeah, and then I go from there. Ryan, so what about Kleba, Dalton, and a first for Zaire, Sharp, Clowney from Brooklyn?
What about you give me $1 million and I send you a quarter?
Yeah,
that's mean, garbage for 3 decent players.
And that's not. And even if you're the Lakers, you don't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
you need to make moves that are actually going to be difference. Yeah. I like all these guys just fine, but they need a starter. They need a fifth starter. And
it's probably not big enough given you're using Kleba's contract.
Exactly. So the opportunity cost.
I mean, but if I'm the Nets, I traded away 3 young guys that are good.
Yeah.
All 3 of those Nets guys are better than either of the Lakers players.
Right.
In this. And then the first round is just a swap. Now, if you start saying just a first round pick, maybe that changes things, but
right. And then there's zero reason for the Lakers to do that if there's a first round pick involved. So that's if I'm the Nets though, we have to remember the only way that a swap has value is if the team getting the swap believes and has reason to believe that they are going to be better than the team they're swapping with in that year. The Nets are in a rebuild. The Lakers have Luka. Most teams are going to look at that. Like same thing when we talk about, just give the Kings a swap for Keon Ellis. The Kings are probably going into a rebuild. That swap has zero value to them unless they believe that in that year they're going to be better than the team they're swapping with.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard because unless you're like OKC or San Antonio right now, most teams are probably going to be thinking, man, we're probably that they're the only ones that can feel confident, like we're going to be better than most other teams, especially when you're talking 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line for some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's go here. Is Mark Walter going to wait 10 years to fire Blanket. Mark Walters owned the team for like
10 minutes,
30 days or something. Like, let's pump the brakes on all this stuff.
He doesn't have, like, they did it the way all these other ones were going to be done, but they actually did it where he's not technically running it right now. It's still Genie. So now let's be realistic. If he's like, I want this guy out, there's ways he can kind of flex that power to make it happen. But yeah.
All right, let's go here. Shout out Nets Kingdom. Question: is the league hoping for a Giannis domino to fall, or for the Nets to ascertain how to use cap space?
No, not really. Because talking to people around the league over the last couple of weeks, most of them are kind of expecting Giannis to just stay now. So everybody's ready to react if that happens, but that's more around the idea of, all right, and then the Bucks gonna initiate a sell-off of other guys. And they do have some guys on pretty good value contracts, so they think people could try to get on and swipe a guy, for lack of a better term. The Nets cap space, yeah, they're gonna use that cap space up. Everybody expects that as a facilitator. Man, for Simons, yeah, that's one of my favorite, like, semi-boring, like, could be realistic trades, only because it basically gets Boston out of the tax and it gives them then $15 million of tradable salary for next season. There where Simons just comes off the books. So, but Anthony Simons has played really well for the Celtics. I know there's a lot of people in Celtics fandom that they're not fans of the guy, but he has played really well for them. So it's tough.
All right, let's go here. Miguel said, wanted to ask about Tari Eason and restricted free agency. Given the long-term contracts Houston has, can you picture him being a casualty of Houston not having the cap space to sign him? Would love my Lakers to snag him. As a general rule of thumb, anyone who has RFA next to their name, pretend like they are not there. Do not include them in free agency. Most teams around the league, look, somebody will do it at some point. Most teams, it is a complete non-starter to even approach a player that's a restricted free agent.
Yeah, and if you're going to go that route, you're just going to work it out as a sign and trade more likely than you are just sit and wait. Or you have to overpay to a level where then that starts to become a contract you may not actually really love for your team signing him. But yeah, I mean, he certainly could be a casualty for Houston. It's very, very interesting that they kind of came kind of quietly going into the holidays. When Easton came back, they're playing him and Durant together as the wings right now. Or you could, I guess, include Jabari Smith, and they're really playing a center, 3 switchable forward size guys. And then not even Amin Thompson's forward size as the ball handler. They're not playing any traditional guards in their starting group at the moment. And that's only made possible because Eason has really become a pretty good shooter. So the challenge is, and I'm glad you pulled up their cap sheet. It's rough right now for the Rockets going into next year. Now, I think what you're going to see happen with Fred VanVleet is he's going to opt out and do kind of what he did this year, which is sign another long-term contract, but for probably even less, where it goes to, overall with that. I think that's where that'll kind of come down for him, just to stick around in Houston. But with Jabari Smith Jr.'s contract jumping up and KD's extension being on the books already, Eason could get squeezed out.
All right, let's go here. Do you think Michael Porter Jr. would be a good fit for the Spurs? I think he'd be a good fit a lot of places. But the Spurs are so well set up that a lot of players you could put a lot of names in there and be able to say, yes, that player would be a good fit.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely would be, because the one place where he still lacks is defensively. And when you have Wemby and Castle and others like to clean up for him, that's great. Like, I think that is really good. So yeah, we'll see with that. So I would be careful how much I gave up in a trade for MPJ if I'm the Spurs, just because it's not like, I feel like they're gonna have to make a bigger move down the line, and I want to keep my stuff in reserve for them.
You don't think so? You don't buy that that Castle, Harper, and Wemby are the new Manu, Parker, and Duncan?
They might be. I mean, they very well maybe. I don't want to. If I'm like, let's say in the summer they want to get involved in a Giannis discussion, I don't want to be out of the Giannis discussion because I made a Michael Porter Jr. trade. Now, like that's
so they want optionality.
Yeah, I would just, yeah, I know that's a nasty word for you.
Rob Pelinka's ears perked up.
I would just, I don't know. I don't think they need to be making the big move yet.
All right, let's go. I don't disagree with you. I think they've obviously had a great season, taken a huge step forward. Yep. But you don't want to necessarily commit to any particular thing just yet. You're still figuring out what you've got, where you can go. And I'd like to see this group in the playoffs as is. Where's the cutoff for you guys for an emergency 2 a.m. trade live show? Does Trae get one, or does it have to be a superstar more unexpected than him? Part of it depends on like what's getting traded for Trae.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if it's Trae for, I don't know, if it's Trae for like Tobias Harris and Duncan Robinson, well, but then it involves Detroit, and Detroit's a big time. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what the most boring Trae Young trade would be, but if there's something significant, it's Trae for Anthony Davis. Okay, we're doing a show, right?
I mean, the real cutoff is, am I still awake?
Are you
like that's the real cutoff, because if I, the Luka one just happened to be like I was listening to you do the post game show, and then we were I forget what the other night game was that night. It ended up being okay, and I got kind of sucked into it, and then I was literally in bed when the Shams tweet came out, and then I started texting you, and we were like, holy crap! So yeah, it was I mean, and then the KD one just went down. We did similar circumstances. We just happened to be up.
You happened to be up. I think I was up. I don't remember why you were awake. Did I text you and just
on the KD one? Maybe I can't remember.
And somehow, maybe you put something on X, and I went, "Oh my God, he's awake."
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah. So that's
yeah. How do you feel this one? I just wanted to mention, how do you feel if you wake up to a Giannis for Luka trade? Angry that I was asleep when it happened. That 100%. I would be, whoever broke the news, probably Shams. I would be angry. He's been doing that lately too. Been putting stuff out at like 6 a.m.
Yeah,
I'm like,
West Coast time. Yeah,
what are you doing? Like, come on, man. Yeah, mostly angry that I was asleep when it happened. That would be my initial.
I am all for trade news breaking at 7 a.m. Eastern.
Oh, no.
I know I'm in the minority, but I am all.
Dude, I am barely going to bed at that time.
I prefer that over 2 a.m. Eastern. I'm gonna pull this up because I'm not really sure what the Celtics fans been real quiet lately. What does that mean? Celtics fans are pretty happy.
They haven't had a lot to complain about lately.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing to really complain about. So if that's what it means, yeah. But if you're thinking that they're upset with how the season's going, you're completely. I mean, outside of the ones who are like they absolutely have to tank this year, which you're never going to please those people. But I mean, they're having a really.
No, I would assume it's quiet because they don't have a lot to complain about right now.
Yeah, could be. Right? If it is, I mean, yeah, that's absolutely accurate. I don't know why that's funny, but sure.
Can you explain during the offseason a cap space team sends offers to restricted free agents how much time the team has to agree? What is it now? It's 48 hours?
Oh, 24. No, it's one day.
Right. They cut it down.
Yeah.
But even that, teams don't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. The big part of it is you don't want to. It's not the waiting time from delivering the offer sheet. It's if you do it on July 1 or even the 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern, now that it opens, then like it's you're tying up your cap space until the moratorium lifts. Mm-hmm. That's where the problem is. So you can't then, let's use Tari Eason because he was brought up. Mm-hmm. Let's use the Lakers because he asked about the Lakers. Let's say the Lakers are like $20 million a year for Tari Eason. We're going to give that offer sheet. And Tari Eason's like, yep, I'm signing that offer sheet. And they offer that on July 1. you're tied up until like July 6th when the moratorium lifts.
Because he can't actually sign the contract.
Exactly, because he can't sign it until then. So you're really now, as other guys are agreeing and flying off the board, you can't say, hey, these 4 other guys wait till we have resolution on Tari Eason. And the Rockets are certainly not going to give you an answer on we're matching or not. That's where it would turn into, hey, let's try to do a sign and trade instead. So now we know that's in place. Here's what it'll be with that. But yeah, you don't want to kind of get into a spot where it is you don't like you just tying up the cap space is tough. It really, we see offer sheets come after the moratorium lifts if guys are still kind of languishing out there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really have anything to add to that. All right, let's go here. Are the Warriors hurting Kuminga's trade value by not showcasing him, or do they already know teams want him and don't want to risk injury? I don't think it's really either
one.
Yeah, I think that teams know what Jonathan Kuminga is. Yep. I don't think you're changing his trade value one way or another by playing him or not playing him right now. Teams know what he is. They have a good sense of it. And if they were interested before, they're not going to be less interested now just because they haven't been playing him. I don't think this is about bubble wrapping him either. I'm curious to see what his trade value actually is, because the Warriors have not really been able to use him. He's not been super effective for them. But I think there will be some teams that say, well, he's just not a fit with Golden State, but we think he'd be a fit with us.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's like you said, teams know what he is, and everybody's just kind of, the Warriors don't want to play him because they don't want to play him. Like there's no trying to keep him from getting hurt or anything like that. If that was the case, you see that stuff happen more week of the trade deadline, where it is, let's hold a guy out just to make sure nothing happens. But yeah, it's there's nothing going on there that's weird. I don't think. I think it's just they don't want to play him because they don't think he's good for them anymore.
All right, let's go here. Zero Dave said, I wonder if that's a Static X reference. With Zero, but I'd really like to hear your guys' opinion of my anti-tanking idea. Lock the 2 worst records into the 4th and 5th picks. All bad teams are going to try to not be bottom 2.
I don't really like that.
Yeah,
I think you punish teams that are just bad. Like a lot of teams are just bad. Like that's, I think the tanking stuff is, I think the single best solution I like is no more protected picks in the lottery. Either picks are lottery protected, where you lose it if you're in the lottery or the playoffs, because teams won't tank out of the playoffs to keep a lottery pick. That's very, very rare.
Right.
There. So that's that one I don't mind. But I really don't like the a lot of this other stuff. When teams are bad, I don't like the whole can't pick in the top 2 years in a row. Like, okay, so just when you're bad, now you're going to be bad even longer because you couldn't get 2 good players. Like,
I mean, some of it is luck of the draw too. Like when you happen to be bad, like think the Hawks are super. I mean, I know they like Zach Ricochet, but I mean, they got bookended by Wemby and Cooper Flag. Like I think they would much rather be able to grab one of those
forever.
Guys.
Yeah. 100%.
So, I do think things get a little too heavy-handed when it comes to the tanking stuff. Like, is tanking really a problem? And the problem, tanking gets conflated with load management, and we put the two together. And I think we by doing that, we look at tanking as a bigger problem than it actually is in the NBA. I don't think tanking is really that big of an issue. I do think the play-in tournament has done what it's supposed to do. Are there some teams at the bottom? Yeah, but there are always going to be some teams at the bottom. So I don't think we need to go out of our way to like punish teams. Nobody's doing anything as extreme as what the 76ers did in the trust the process era or anything like that. Are there teams that sell off talent? Yes. But I don't think we're in an era anymore where, our fans simply will not put up with that. No, I mean, fans and Philly fans were on board with it and understood what they were doing. I think fans have a pretty good sense of what teams are doing, what the strategy is, and understanding what that process looks like. So I don't think tanking is all that big of an issue to where you need to do something drastic to address it.
I think the bigger issue with tanking is the Sixers last year trying to keep a protected pick in the middle of the lottery. The Jazz this year trying to make sure they keep. That's where it gets real sideways with stuff, and guys start sitting out and all this stuff. But it's also like it gets very, very tiresome getting the every time a team loses, or it's like, oh, this guy's out, everybody, oh, they're tanking. Sometimes teams just lose. Sometimes guys get hurt. Like it's, teams aren't like and it's a complete misunderstanding of. So for example, could the Wizards be better this year if they went and instead of having most of their minutes going to guys on rookie scale deals, if they replaced 3 of those guys with mid-tier veteran players? Yeah, they probably win a handful more games. But is that better for them in the long term? No. So it's just, I don't know. Not everybody's trying to win for reasons that aren't tanking wise. And here's the thing, if their young players were good enough that they were winning games, then so be it. They're going to move. It's just, I don't know. I'm with you, but I don't think it's the problem everybody else is making it out to be.
Like, this is crazy. No money for losses.
I'm glad. Yeah, I flagged this one.
Will end that night.
Players don't tank games.
No.
Teams do. Organizations do. Players, when they play, are trying. If players were tanking games, you would see guys turn around and shoot on the wrong basket or throw the ball into the 20th row of the stands or airball layups and crazy stuff. Players aren't the ones that are tanking games. It's the team. It's the same thing with load management. Outside of a very, very small handful of players want to play. It's the teams that are holding them out. So you're going to punish the players for the team decision? Get out of here with this.
Well, could you imagine, like, every player would just be desperate to get on the most loaded team they possibly could to make sure they get paid every night. Yeah, exactly. And then like some teams, they just lose and they're not as good as they thought they'd be. And then what? That team just doesn't get paid on that's
so the Thunder, who are having even despite the recent play or having an incredible season, they don't get paid for the games they lost to the Spurs because they lost to another really good team. Like that's
crazy.
Bad idea.
All right, Markkanen is the player to watch. The Jazz will move him. I mean, they continue to tell everybody they won't. I think they should seriously consider it if the right offer is there, and that's obviously the big qualifier. If the right offer is there, they should consider it. I don't think they have to. It's kind of similar to the Michael Porter Jr. conversation in that, like, he's young enough to where he could be part of the the future here for Utah when they do start to get good. I think Keontae George has taken some steps forward this year. There's some exciting things going on there. So I don't think they have to move him, but if they get the right offer, they should consider it. But I don't think the Jazz go into the trade deadline thinking, man, we got to get this guy off our roster or anything. If they want to tank and they want to drop down and make sure they get, and this is to Keith's point on the lottery protected pick thing, they keep their top 8 protected pick. They have other ways to go about it besides just getting Markkanen off their roster.
Yeah, and honestly, anytime he feels something, they'll just sit him. Like, and that's kind of what they're doing right now. Like he's taking a couple shots. And I think with Markkanen too, it's important to know he wants to be in Utah. He really likes playing for the Jazz, and that's where he wants to be. So I don't think we're going to see them. I'm not going to say they won't trade him. I don't think he's untouchable, but I think it's going to take a pretty big offer there. Somebody else asked, does he even have positive trade value? Yeah, I think so. Go again, look at the numbers. I mean, this guy is scoring at a pretty efficient rate and everything else. So, and the Jazz are given every indication that after this season, when they're free and clear of that obligation, they're going to start moving things forward and building up, and they're going to want Markkanen to be a part of that.
Any indication what the structure of NBA Europe will look like?
It's going to be 16 teams, I believe, 12 permanent teams, I think is what it is. And then 4 teams are going to have their way to play into the league structure through various ways. But it'll be kind of like Premier League with a little bit of promotion relegation, but 12 teams will be locked in. They're going after some of the big dogs. They're going after Real Madrid and Barcelona and a handful of other big name teams from various countries. It'll be several different countries involved across Europe, but travel in Europe is not a big deal. It's not really hard. And then they're going to establish teams that'll probably, some of them will be tied to soccer teams. As far as that'll be like who owns it. And then they'll use the infrastructure of the city. So I expect like a team to be in London or maybe Manchester tied in with one of the soccer teams in the area there. So I think there'll be a interesting setup over there. And then we'll go. I'll pull this one real quick. Will the EuroLeague take out the NBA? Will it beat the NBA? No, the NBA is still. I don't know what will happen 50 years from now, and I won't be around to see it. But they're still like the NBA is still the top league in the world, and 99.9% of players, that's where they want to be, especially when they're younger. They want to get there to prove they can play in the best league in the world.
Bringing back Monk. Tony Shalhoub would probably like that. That was a good show. What else could we bring back? I guess they're kind of bringing back The Office with the paper.
Did you have to look up
Parks and Rec? Sorry, what'd you say?
Did you have to look up who played Monk, or did you just know that?
No, I knew that.
Oh, well, I knew that. I wouldn't have got that one. I know him from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is fantastic and very funny. I'm guessing that's Monk back to the Lakers.
I'm guessing.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that Sacramento can be asking all that much for him because they're not even really using him right now. He's playing like 5-6 minutes a game. So, yeah, I guess that's probably more realistic. I think the problem there is, do you want the money beyond
exactly? This year? I'd rather have the flexibility and I like Malik Monk a lot, but I'd rather have the flexibility there. I actually remember him from the old TV show Wings.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
Yeah.
All right.
Wings was based in Massachusetts. That's why it was a good show.
The Sandpiper Air.
Yeah.
Nantucket. Michael Porter Jr. for Gabe, Vando, Kleba, and Connect Four. It's going to take more than that, especially Vanderbilt. I know he's been better. Keith, did you know Jared Vanderbilt has the highest 3-point percentage on the Lakers in December? and not because they were all so bad. He shot 53% from three in December. It was, absolutely crazy. But
that's a little. I led this club in eighth inning doubles in the month of August.
Right. Yeah. It's tiny sample size and all, but still, of the things you would never. expect.
That's just not enough. Though.
Right.
You'd have to give a pick.
Yeah,
those players have value.
No, and my point was Jared Vanderbilt, even though he has shot better, still has negative value right now, I think, around the league. So, can the Lakers get Ben Simmons?
Sure.
They could.
Yeah. I think the Lakers are the 18th, if I remember correctly, that they can sign a player and fit him in under the hard cap. So,
yep.
Yeah.
In theory, I don't know if they whether they should is a different conversation.
What problems he's fixing there. I don't think the Lakers are struggling with ball handling.
So. But this time, his shooting is better. This time, he's figured it out.
That's the Arrested Development meme right there.
Yeah. LA gets Wiggins and Ellis. Sacramento gets Connect and Powell. And a second, Rui gets Gabe. Or Miami gets Rui, Gabe, Monk, and an LA first. Happy New Year, guys. Is Miami giving up Wiggins for Rui, Gabe, Monk? I don't know if Miami wants Monk on the books.
Yeah.
That longer term salary. I don't think they
feels like Norman Powell is being very underrated.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. If it's Wiggins and Powell, is that enough going out?
You're giving up two starters
or enough coming in. That's not enough for Miami. I think that's where that falls apart.
Moving on.
If Atlanta is seriously considering acquiring AD and trading Trae, is Trae to Brooklyn for Michael Porter Jr. and AD to Atlanta for Porzingis, Zachary, and Luke, and draft. I don't know why I said his name that way. And draft compensation.
That's how I always say it. When I'm just like doing stuff or I'm writing about him, I always say Zachary Risache.
Risache. Oh. Hey, do you read things in people's voices?
Sometimes.
Like when you know somebody wrote something and you know that person's voice, but yeah, they have a distinct voice. I read it and hear their voice. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Not a doubt.
And I can't shut it off.
Here's the problem. Brooklyn just drafted a bunch of ball handlers. So I don't think Trae makes sense for them.
Yeah. Agreed. Even just timeline wise, it doesn't make sense. Would you trade Reeves and a first for Amen Thompson? First of all, the Rockets, Reeves is not under contract for the future, so the Rockets wouldn't do it because he could turn around and leave in the summer, and then they've just lost Amen Thompson for a first. So keep that alone would make this a no-go. But from the Lakers side, probably. Yeah, I mean, he's younger, he's so athletic, he's what you need defensively. Reeves the better offensive player, but man, he gives you Amen Thompson gives you a lot.
Yeah, I think I would do that, but it's not. They would not do it on the Rocket side. And I'm not saying Reed Shepherd is as good as Austin Reeves, but Reed Shepherd does what Austin Reeves would do for them.
Right.
But for right now, a little less money. Pretty soon, a lot less money.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Yeah, that's right. I mean, Austin's going to get paid, and anybody that's been on the like trade Austin Reeves thing, wait a year. That's what you have to do. If you, and the numbers have said the exact opposite, but if you believe that Austin Reeves and Luka can never, ever, ever work, and you must trade Austin Reeves, you have to sign him and then trade him next year. You're not going to get value for him on an expiring. Giannis to the Lakers for Austin Reeves or whatever. Milwaukee's going to go, he's just going to leave. He'll leave this summer. Like, we don't have any guarantee he'd stick around. He's out. So why would they ever do something like that? So you have to have him on a long-term deal before you could get any kind of significant value for him. Yep. Could the Lakers trade Austin Reeves right now? Yeah, they absolutely could. But Lakers fans would lose their minds over the value they would get.
Yeah, it's not going to be what you want it to be.
No. Yeah. Any thoughts on Tre Mann's situation in Charlotte? Signed him to a 3-year deal this summer, and he's fallen out of the rotation.
Yeah, super tradable contract. He can score some. He's kind of like if I'm a team that needs some backcourt help, that's a nice flyer to take, where it's like, okay, you don't have to give up a lot to get him, and contract isn't all that big. Sure, but I would certainly take a look. Charlotte just has a bunch of guards in front of him. It's really not as much about him as it is they've just got a whole bunch of guys in there, knock on wood, relatively healthy right now. So I would Tre Mann's an interesting guy. I would certainly be okay with that. I'm not giving up a ton to get him, but I would definitely take a look.
All right, let's go here in the offseason. Nembhard, Mathurin in a sign and trade. Ben Shepherd, Jarris Walker plus picks for Giannis.
Oh.
Pacers draft Peterson, willing to trade Nembhard.
Feels a little light.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on
the picks.
And if I'm the Bucks and I'm going to trade Giannis to the Pacers, I want the pick they're using to draft Peterson.
Yeah. Yeah, right? That's the biggest issue.
Yeah, give me that pick. Well, you guys want Giannis and you're not willing to give up that pick, well, then you don't get Giannis, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's what I'd be looking to do. And the Pacers may very well just say, well, then we're not trading for Giannis, and that's that. But if I'm the Bucks, I would want that pick.
Your biggest issue there is your overlapping skill sets here. Like, that's 2-3 guards and ball handling forward that you're bringing all in one trade, and that you're just getting a little kind of congested at the same roles ish here.
All right, let's go here. First, fire Rob. I know Lakers fans are upset right now, but wasn't that long ago? It was less than a year ago that he executed the most shocking trade we've seen in NBA history. I think the general consensus was they had a pretty strong summer, but knowing that part of what they did over the summer was keeping their flexibility for making some type of midseason move. If they don't make a midseason move, okay, there's probably a different conversation, but that was part of the benefit of not making a trade over the summer. Now you can argue, especially right now, hindsight being 2020, you can argue, well, they should have made some kind of trade over the offseason and really put the roster together the way they needed to. We knew going into the season that the roster was not complete, but I don't know that it's been, given that we're kind of mid-plan here, I don't know that it's this stretch is going to get Rob Pelinka fired or anything like that. Maybe that changes this summer. Maybe that changes if the trade deadline comes and goes, and the second part of their summertime spending never comes to fruition, which was keeping the flexibility open to see what you've got and then make some type of move midseason. We'll see what goes on there. But Grimes and Watson in free agency, I don't know. Like Grimes, do you really need another guard if you're the Lakers? Assuming you're retaining Austin Reeves?
Yeah, that's too much. For me, there, yeah. If you're getting the idea is like maybe then you let Reeves go, or you're going to use him in some kind of sign-in trade, sure. Then I kind of get it. Peyton Watson's a restricted free agent, so where to rent through all the trouble for that. So that gets a little tricky there. With that, I think the biggest issue with the Lakers offseason is the things we called out, like here's how these additions go wrong. They've kind of happened, right? Marcus Smart's been hurt. That's been a thing. And DeAndre Ayton's just been not the best version of DeAndre Ayton. Like it's just been kind of a lot of night. Like I know was it the Pistons game? You guys were like, this dude's just out here. Like he's not, what do you have, 2 rebounds? Like that just, you just can't have that. So that's, and that's fortunately, that's kind of what comes with DeAndre Ayton. On the nights he looks really good, it's like, man, this guy's awesome. But it's just like, they're few and far between.
On the season, he's been very good and very much worth his contract. Sure. And then some, but he's had, the games where we're going up against some significant bigs. DA needs to show up in this one. He's gone. Yeah. And that was the Rockets and the Pistons. Okay. 2 big offensive rebounding teams. Now the Suns have been a sneaky good offensive rebounding team, and he had a huge game against them one time and then kind of no show the next. That's the inconsistency, I think, is one of the issues there. But yeah, Jake LaRavia has done some good things for them. Sure. In general, based on the price they paid for those guys, I think those have all been positive additions. But I think there's plenty of criticism towards the Lakers front office that we can go way more in depth on and just criticism over on Lakers Nation. We'll talk more about it, but especially looking at, say, the last 5 years and what the plan has been, and there's plenty of things that we can go into. I just don't know that this stretch right now, they've lost 4 out of 5, is immediately that's it. Rob Pelinka gets fired here.
No, that's not. Yeah. That's an overreaction.
Seems like expiring contracts aren't as popular as last year. Who's looking for flexibility? Here's
part of the issue is the teams who have cap space aren't necessarily looking to get off of. They're not the ones that have guys to move. So like the Lakers have cap space, so they wouldn't mind acquiring expiring contracts, but they're also trying to win. The Clippers, who right now apparently are the best team in the league, which is just, I'm out. I'm not going to get sucked in again on the stupid Clippers because that's happened to me too many years in a row now. But like they can have a bunch of cap space in the summertime. And then some of the other teams like the Nets and the Wizards, like they're just not there. So it's the expiring contracts are still hold value if your idea is cleaning up your cap sheet.
All right, let's go here. It's the 25th anniversary for Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings. Anyone going to any of the special showings later this month? I don't know. Are you a big Lord of the Rings guy?
I am, but they're too long, and this is happening at the wrong time of year for me to go to the theater to watch it as much as I would like to. But I just. Yeah, I like the Lord of the Rings. I watch the trilogy every year. They're one of those ones too. Like if it's a Saturday morning, there's nothing else on. Like and it's on. They seem to be on TNT a lot. I'll put it on in the background because I can kind of pop in and out of them. I've seen them so many times, but yeah, it's that it was funny though watching the I don't know if you've ever watched the extended editions of them.
Mm-mm.
They actually do fill in the gaps on some of the stuff. Whereas like, oh, and then I was like, why did they cut that? It's not like these are like a way to cut down the length. Like it's already there. I will say what's funny is the idea is of the last one, the Return of the King like ends like 6 different times is absolutely true.
It does. It felt like it was over a bunch of no. For me, those movies were all a one and done. I watched them once, and that was that. I never had a desire to like go back into them. It was just they were good, but it wasn't like I was, super like I remember basic plot points and stuff, but I haven't watched them since the first time.
So when DA checks back in, Fellowship on Friday, 2 Towers on Saturday, Return of the King Sunday. I just at this time of year in season, I can't give up 3 nights of like that's like 4 hours invested in movies. And I try very, very hard when I get to go to a movie. Like I like phone is off. Like I try to lock in on the movie because I don't want to ruin it for everybody else.
Not that like we're expecting trades to happen right now.
Yeah, it's too. Yeah,
you never know. Yep. Like it, I wouldn't be assuming a trade is coming, but I tell you what, I'm traveling tomorrow for just a few days. That means it's gonna happen. Yep. It's gonna happen.
School starts again here for me soon, so it'll be in the car quite a bit here at the end of the week. Not for me, for my daughter, and I do the pickup drop off. To be clear, I am not going back to school.
Is Nert interesting to any contender? We need to go. We'll go rapid fire through last.
Yeah, he's played pretty well. This year he offers nothing defensively, but he is. It's. I mean, he's interesting, right? Like it's like he's good offense.
If you need a big body,
yeah, sure. Yep. Expiring deal, so the size of his contract isn't a little like isn't all that big, but yeah. Yep.
LeBron and Bronny to the Knicks for OG Robinson and Clarkson. LeBron has a no trade clause, so that's probably the end of any of those LeBron trades.
Doing that either. Like that's like
I mean they're
a lot of value to give up.
They're already in a good spot in the East. I think especially when they do want to go to their more 2 big lineups, like then you've got LeBron and I mean you don't have Mitchell Robinson anymore to go with that, but I guess it's Cat and LeBron out there. Yeah, that's tough. But again, he's got a no trade clause, so none of it. He would have to go to the Lakers and say, "I don't want to be a Laker anymore. I want out," in order for them to trade him. And I have a hard time buying that that's where this is going.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Our I'm gonna just pull this one. This will be probably one of the last ones we do, because Andrew has he's a crossover of our fandoms. He's a Lakers fan. He's also a Leeds United fan. So I will be watching both kinds of football this Sunday. I'll be watching Leeds in the morning. They play Manchester United in the morning, and then I'll be watching. I think they play. Yeah, I think it's Manchester United this weekend, and then I'll be watching a little NFL football later in the day around the NBA games.
All right.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. M. Dread said, I wish we could trade Luka for Cade. Kawhi Leonard, the MVP right now?
I mean, he's playing it in MVP.
Well, but let's not go crazy here.
Yeah, he's not winning MVP on a team that's like in like
Keith, 12th what happens? What happens if Shea goes down? What if Shea turns his ankle and is out for a month? That's it. He no longer has MVP eligibility. And that's where the 65 game thing comes into question. Like, then who wins it? I don't know what happens at that point. Jokic can't win it anymore. Like, this just
probably goes to. I mean, Giannis is probably out or
he's
pretty close, out. Right?
I don't know. Luka's probably not going to play enough games.
I don't. Yeah, is Luka going to play enough games? Yeah. That's the problem with it, right? I'm kind of with everybody who said they probably went a little too far on that one. But yeah. So maybe Brunson, maybe Cade Cunningham,
And do the Lakers win enough? Well, I mean, I guess Lucas hasn't missed that many games, but I'm foreseeing
Jaylen Brown should get some love too. Like he's played really well. He's going to be in the
mix. Could get it.
Yeah. I think Jaylen Brown's going to be in the mix for first team All NBA because guys are out.
If that happens, not that the way this is going right now, it's not that these guys aren't deserving of it, but that could spark change to that rule. Like, hey, all the top guys that would get this all played 63 games.
That's it. If guys just miss. Like if for some reason Jokic can only get to 50 games this year, I'll say, well, it is what it is. But, But if guys get to, if they're a game or two off, then sure. But
all right. Well, I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody for joining us. The first Front Office Friday of 2026. Got a lot of good questions in. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Follow us over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts as well. Till next time, everybody.
Hey,
see ya.
Trevor, next time?
Yeah.
We'll be less than a month to the trade deadline.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's
Closing
coming.
in.
It's coming. All right, everybody. Till next time. See ya. And stay safe.